you really need an introduction, but I'm here with my now good friend, Ewan. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, well, you know, it's at our respective houses, sitting here just having a conversation.
Like we often do.
Really, yes, because this is how we do, because
You
we're
just
good
got to
friends.
stay in touch with your good friends
That's
during
right.
this time. Yeah, that's
Well,
important.
being good friends, I got to know, first question I have to ask you. The world is socially distanced. Things haven't really stopped for you, though. Like, there are still projects being announced for you. You are clearly still working. How have things been going, and what does your routine look like these days?
Yes, I was working on a project in New York City for Netflix called Halston, and I was a television series about the fashion designer Halston, and we were probably about 6-7 weeks into shooting, what would have been about 3.5 months shooting, and so we were shut down, and was luckily able to get back to California. So that's sort of yet to be finished, and of course, at the moment, we don't know when or whether, in fact, we'll restart that in New York or somewhere else. But so in terms of actual work, that's when that ended. When I guess it was towards the end of March.
Yeah.
And then I've been back here, and it's since been announced that I've been doing I'm playing Jiminy Cricket in Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio, and that I had started working on before I left for New York. So that's some of that is recorded. And of course, it's stop frame animation, so it's going to take them a great long time to make that film. But my first part of that, which is recording his dialogue, is sort of done. There may or may not be a song that needs to be recorded. I'm not sure that I'm at liberty to discuss that, even though we're just privately talking,
Just us, being good friends.
Just the two of us. So that's maybe yet to be done, and then, of course, there's a lot of thinking and preparation, at least in my brain, to be done for the Obi-Wan series, which we'll shoot. Hopefully early next year.
Oh.
Sorry, Broshi. It was just me knocking the table. Our little dog.
Oh.
That was Broshi. She thought I knocked the table for good luck, and she thought someone was at the door.
I think that's one, adorable, and two, little dogs are feisty, and I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta ask, you have all these things on the table. There's always this unusualness of like figuring out the day. Have you adopted any new habits since, the beginning of social distancing? Are there any creative things that you figured out work for you while trying to keep up the pace with everything?
Well, it's amazing how much time has passed, isn't it? It's already 11 or 12 weeks or something. And at the beginning of it, of course, we didn't know how long it was going to last, but I sort of threw myself at lots of things all at once because I got home, and like a lot of people, I have lots of things that I planned to get to one day, little jobs around the place, DIY stuff, gardening stuff, things like that I just sort of tackled very quickly all at once, because I didn't anticipate we would be here for so long. But I would say what's changed is that I've is everything. I can't imagine like moving forward in the same way after this. I think I've reestablished a sort of sense of enjoying just time and time at home, time with my family, with my loved ones. And everything's different, I'm much better at waking up in the morning and maybe not having a plan for the whole day, And before, I don't think I would have been very good at that, because I'm sort of got a bit of a sort of workaholic streak in me, where I've always liked to be working and with something to go on to. And this has really taught me to be able to just relax and enjoy the moment. So I think I don't have so much of a routine as such, but I think that's what's new, is I don't have a plan really for the day, Partly, two of my kids have been doing homeschooling on computers, and like everybody in the country. So I've been sort of around for that, and I've had to sort of my day is sort of a little bit organized around their timetable. So there's a sort of structure to it a bit. But other than that, just lots of lots of hobby stuff. I've had time to tinker with my old motorbike, some old cars that I have, and do a bit of cycling, and just enjoy, and doing a lot of stuff in the garden. I like sort of doing things with the land. My fingers are greener than they were when we started all this.
Well, I mean, and it's really amazing. I honestly think that the funny thing is, like you've mentioned within like the first couple minutes of our very personal conversation, that no one is clearly watching right now. Two of the things that people are really excited about, which is you getting a chance to maybe perhaps non-confirmed sing in a movie that we won't mention maybe, and working with your motorbikes, which I think is absolutely amazing. But also you mentioned what I think everyone's like biggest question besides when will you make an album, which is the untitled Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And it's really just such an amazing thing that folks remember. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as well as Episode 2 and 3 came out. It was really at the forefront of some really cool cinematic advancements. And now, over 2 decades later, you're about to, after you finish reading your thumbs and tinkering with your bike, go back into this massive project, which is a new chapter in Obi-Wan Kenobi's journey. Do you feel like there were any really cool lessons that you're going to bring with you into this new series? And I would be remiss not to ask, but no, you may not answer. Is there anything you can tell us about this new journey in Obi-Wan Kenobi's journey?
No, there's nothing I could tell you, really. That would be the first bit.
Just for the record, I asked.
I know you had to. I don't think I was. I'm trying to remember how old I was when we started the first one, but I was, it was the mid to late 90s, I think, and when we shot Episode 1, I'm just going to enjoy it all much more. I think our technology is such now that we were. I think we shot the first one on film, and we shot the second one when we got to Australia on the new HD cameras, which were sort of pretty primitive compared to what they are now. And so it was quite technically, it was quite complicated, I remember. And it was just all blue screen and green screen. And so it was hard to imagine it, but nowadays, I think things have moved on so much. And I think a lot of what you see is going to be what we see on the set. I don't know if you've seen any of the Mandalorian, the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian series, but they employ that incredible screen, and I don't even begin to know how it works, but it's pretty amazing. And so when you're on set, if you're in a snowscape or something, well, when you look around, you see that and it makes you feel like you're in the place. I think it's going to be more. It's going to feel realer for us, for the actors, and I think we'll be using some of that technology on our show, which I don't know exactly, as you say, untitled as yet. But there's some great fan ideas for it. I don't know if you've seen some of the fan art, but there's an amazing poster where they've named it "Hello There." That's the name of the movie. Hello There, the Obi-Wan Kenobi story or whatever. But it's that would be fun. That would get my vote. Hello There.
I mean, it's kind of appropriate.
Yeah. It would be good. But we'll see. I don't know yet what it's going to be called, and I don't know. I do know sort of what it's going to be about, but I'm not going to tell you.
For the record, again, I tried. Okay, so you can't tell us anything about Obi-Wan Kenobi and this untitled Hello There musical, which is what it is in my head, and will be forevermore. But you do have a lot of other upcoming projects. You mentioned Pinocchio, where you are going to be playing the ever-lovable Jiminy Cricket. You are also in an animated adaptation of The Land of Sometimes. Can you tell us anything about that?
No, I can't, because I don't know very much about it yet. It's something that I'm excited to do. and I've been attached to do for a long time, but I don't know quite how close we are to doing that. I'm not sure. I haven't got very much to tell you about that, I'm afraid. As opposed to the other one I know quite a lot about, but I won't tell you. This one I don't know very much about, so I can't tell you.
I mean, at least you're being fair and you're treating everyone equally. I don't. Okay, so let's take a step back.
Okay.
You played a lot of different roles. You have been hero, villain, lover, fighter, and most recently, as I just mentioned, you're going to be playing like another beloved childhood character. Is there any type of role or production that you're itching to do more of? Would you like to try your hat at the future that you haven't had a chance to do yet? I feel like this is a very narrow lane.
Yeah. Look, I was lucky enough to direct a movie a few years back called American Pastoral, and I loved that so much, being involved in all aspects of the filmmaking. I've always thought of myself as an actor as being a filmmaker. You know, you're involved with all of the filmmaking departments in a movie, and over the years certainly amassed a lot of experience on a film set, and also a sense of how I like things, what works for me on a film set and what doesn't, I suppose. And so I was able to sort of utilize all that experience and direct a movie, and I loved it so much. So I would definitely like to do that again. I realized that it demands not only quite a lot of your time, but it just demands so much of your heart and soul and commitment, which is similar to acting. But when you're acting, it's, you know, it can be 3-4 months at a time, whereas with a movie, it's when you're directing a movie, it's over a much longer period of time. And so I know that I couldn't just do it for the sake of doing it, but I would have to do it because it's a story that I really couldn't not tell. You know, it would have to be something you just need to do. And I'm sort of waiting for that story to find me. I'm not really looking for it, but I'm sure something will come along, you know. And it could be really interesting. That was a film, a very classic film and a period film. And my instinct is that I should do something very different. That my second film should be something more akin to Trainspotting, if you like, where young people film, maybe I'm not in it, but I just direct it, and it should be more loose and urban and you know, less expensive and smaller and just fun. You know, I just can imagine that would be great fun. With the, you know, I realize as a director, getting the right people around you to help you tell the story is so exciting. We're working with the actors and working with the DP and the designers, and it's just so exciting. So to get a really cool team of people that you like, and maybe people you've worked with in the past that you respect and have a good rapport with, it would just be the best experience in the world, really. So more of that. I really am. I think it's probably true to say I'm more excited about playing Obi-Wan again now than I was even the first time, because it's just because you live and learn, and the more I realize what I'm part of, in a way. I think at the time when you're young and you know, I just sort of treated it like, yeah, it's just another movie like all the other ones I'm making. But now, with a bit of looking back on it, you can see what you're involved in something quite huge, you know, in the Star Wars. I don't like the word franchise, but the Star Wars sort of fable or legend or whatever you might call it. And so this time to go back and to bridge that gap even more so between what I was trying to do in the first 3 films, playing a young version of Alec Guinness. Well, now I'm closer in age to Alec Guinness when he did the first one. I mean, still not really nearly as old as he is, but was.
Of course
but
not. No.
no. But I'm closer, and so I think it'll be really interesting now to do that, to go through that experience again, and to start watching Alec Guinness's. I spent a lot of time watching his early work because I was playing him as a 20-year-old guy. So I watched as many films as I could see of Alec Guinness when he was in his 20s, and now I'll have to watch Alec Guinness's work when he's in his 40s, 50s, and that I'm really looking forward to, and to try and find our Obi-Wan Kenobi now, to sort of bridge that gap between what I did before and where Alec started the whole thing off in the 70s. Should be fun.
I, for one, am extremely excited. I have a personal question before we get to fan questions, because we do have fan questions, and I do not want to miss out on that. Fans, we're extremely excited to ask you everything from what you eat for breakfast to will you do a motorcycle movie, and is there an album coming? But what I personally want to know, with a little bit of time before production begins, I'm kind of curious, like, what is on your playlist? What's on your watch list? Is there anything that you're binging? Or are you just like watching stuff to prep for upcoming projects and roles?
I tend to watch, I mean, I was watching a lot of stuff from the 70s and 80s because I was in the middle of playing Halston. And so I was sort of focused on that era, Studio 54 and New York in the 70s and 80s. And looking at documentaries about the gay scene then. So that was, but since things have gone on hold, I've just been on sort of free flow and watching whatever. I was watching some River Phoenix movies because I just sort of wanted to watch him again, and I was remembering how beautiful an actor he was, and so I've been watching some of his films, and in preparation for Star Wars, I was been watching the Mandalorian series, which I just finished. And I really liked it. And I'm working with Deborah Chow, who directed some of them. She's directing us in our Hello There movie series.
The musical.
The musical. In a Galaxy Far, Far Away is the opening number, but you'll see. It's going to be great. I can't tell you anymore. So I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I like what they managed to do with that. Because it feels so, it's really Star Wars, isn't it? But it was like a Western, and sort of, I really liked the storylines, and I liked the each episode almost stood alone, and I really liked the way it looked. And I was lucky enough to visit when they were shooting. I visited for an afternoon just to have a look at that technology they were using, and it was really nice. It's nice to be there.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Okay. I have to ask the fan questions. This is part of my job.
Okay.
It's very, very important part of my job. All right. So first fan question. Hello there. That's how I'm going to say it, because that's what that's how we're going to do it.
Hello there.
You've played a lot of iconic characters and been on a lot of cool motorcycle trips throughout the years. Which character of yours would you want to go on a cross-country motorcycle trip with?
Wow, it's really interesting. It's so funny when you try and remember all of the people you've played, and they all feel quite like different, like people you knew or something. You sort of remember them as friends that came and went through your life. Who would go on a bike trip with me? Can we come back to it at the end? I got to really think about it. I'm not sure that
It's hard.
It is a hard one. Because also going on a bike trip, I only ever go on big long bike trips with my friend Charlie, so it would feel odd that he wasn't there. So it'd have to be Charlie, me, and X, who would be. Oh well, I tell you what, I'd like to. Christopher Robin would be fun to have along, because he'd probably be a bit dreary. He'd probably be a bit dreary about it at first, and moan and complain about it. But by the end, he'd be really into it, you know. So maybe Christopher Robin.
That's appropriate. I can see Christopher Robin packing his saddlebags on his bike.
He'd be on a nice old 1940s motorcycle, and I really like those. So that would be cool.
All right. So next question. Are there any personal touches that you have added to your sensational portrayal of Roman Sionis of Birds of Prey that weren't necessarily scripted? Okay. Roman, you did a beautiful job. Honestly, I don't gush over it. I enjoyed that portrayal so very much because it was so fun and so shocking at the same time. So I am also very curious if you added some panache to the character that wasn't necessarily planned.
Yes. Well, I mean, the truth is quite a lot of the. Well, for instance, the scene with Journey where I'm showing her around my apartment and I'm showing her the masks, and most of that dialogue we just made up as we went along. There was quite a lot of that was just was just silly, you know. I just by that point I was so enjoying playing him that it was just, you know, all that stuff about, have you been to that where is it? I asked her if she's been to the town in Africa, and she goes, no, but I hear it's beautiful. I go, it's dirty. And all of those kind of things were just came up in the moment because I think just because we got with Kathy, we got in a place where we could just play with it like that. And most of the stuff with Chris, with Zaz was also most of the beginnings and ends of my scenes with him are totally just us. We did shoot a few scenes that we totally made up that didn't make it into the cut, sadly, but we just one day we got Kathy to just roll the camera, and we did a game of hide and seek in my apartment, and he jumped out. No, first of all, I was hiding, and he catches me, and then I say, okay, I'm going. And now he hides, and I close my. And then I walk down, and he jumps out at me, and I get a fright and faint to the ground, and he's like, "Are you all right, boss? You all right?" And we just made, and then we did sort of what's it called, where you do the wheelbarrow race when you're a kid at school, you know. We did that all around the apartment, and so we shot quite a lot of stuff that we were just me and him imagining what we might get up to in the apartment when no one's there. But none of it made the film, sadly. But it might be on a reel somewhere. I hope someday it might be on a sort of blooper thing, a blooper reel.
One can only hope that someday surfaces, because we all want.
It was funny. Yes. Yes.
All right. So, what was it like to fill the shoes of the iconic character Christopher Robin? One of my favorite moments is him and Winnie the Pooh walking through the train station, and Pooh asking why, and I have the rest of the question here because it was a very long question, and Pooh asking, why is that man in a cage? It was the ticket.
Oh, yes.
It was hilarious.
Man,
And tell
let
him.
Me ask him. Let me ask him. Hang on.
Wait. What is happening?
What did you say? What? Yes, no. She wants to know about when you saw the Ticketmaster. Do you remember in the thing? No, you can tell me. He's a bit shy, and also he says he hasn't spoken to his agent, and he's not sure whether he's allowed to answer questions. But
thank you for appearing, Pooh, without getting clearance. We really do appreciate you being here, even if you don't say anything. I'm sure we can throw you a couple of things of honey, though. If
yes,
you don't mind us.
He'd appreciate that. He'd appreciate that very much. But in the meantime, I can speak for him. I think he's usually fine with that. So, what was the actual question, though? What was it like to fill the shoes of such an iconic character? It was really lovely because, again, it was a bit like the opposite of Obi-Wan, and with Obi-Wan, I had to play a character we did know as an older man and play him as a young man. And this time I had to play somebody we know as a boy, as a child. Christopher Robin, we know as a young child, as a man. And so it was the opposite, but it was really fun. And also to play somebody who was who'd lost the spark of youth and childhood in his life, and had Pooh, his good friend Pooh, sort of bring it back, you know. I think there was a lot of people, parents and people maybe in my age group who could use a reminder that you know, that life's amazing and fun, and it's hard, you know, when you've got responsibilities, and I could relate to him, but it was a nice storyline to play, a nice arc to play, because by the end of it he remembers the sort of beauty of his imagination and his childhood self, you know. I think we have to put you away now. Okay, he's gonna go now. But he'll say bye-bye. Bye. He's never far away, you see, Pooh. He's always, once he's your friend, he's really your friend. He's there always. Nice.
He's Pooh. All right, so
really
next question. Oh, Pooh. I'm not crying, you're crying. So Was the idea of coming back to play Obi-Wan after 15 years more daunting or exciting, or a bit of both?
Just exciting, really. And it's been being thought about by me and by the people who are going to make it for quite a long time. We weren't allowed to tell anybody, and there was all this mounting speculation about whether it was going to happen or not. And then I wasn't allowed to say, because they're very secretive about such things. But it was getting embarrassing. People were starting to speculate, were they thinking of someone else to play the part, and I had to see all this stuff and just keep my mouth shut. Like they were maybe considering other actors to play him and stuff. I was thinking, I'd love to be able to say that we're doing it, please, people. Can we do it now? But we had to wait, and it was fun to announce it last year when we did. But I don't have any nerves about doing it. I'm just excited about it, really, because I really think like I say, I'm really excited. I really think there's something quite exciting about playing a character that you know and love from before, from another part in your life. Now it'd be just quite interesting to do. I think it should be good fun.
We are all very excited. All right. One of my favorite films you star in is Moulin Rouge. Also, mine too. You have an incredible voice. So my question for you is, have you any interest in taking on another musical? We've already said that. Clearly you're doing Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there, the musical.
Hello there, the musical. That's right.
If in real life, would you do another musical?
Yes, I would love to. I've done 2 musicals in my life. I did Moulin Rouge, and then I did Guys and Dolls on stage in London on the West End stage. And there's something incredible about doing a musical. Something very special about it. Telling a story with music is it's so powerful. I mean, for you and for the audience, and especially on stage, that sort of the combination of that is so, there's an amazing experience going to watch a musical in a theater, and when you're on stage, it's just a great experience all round. Very powerful if you're saying "I love you" to someone with dialogue, but then if you're singing "I love you" to someone with song, it takes those emotions and it makes it more powerful. And I think it hits the audience in a different place emotionally, So it's quite exciting to be part of that. I just haven't. It's not that I haven't been offered any. It's just waiting to be. It's not like I've been really picky or
in a musical now.
I haven't been offered any. I don't think any. So Hello There is going to be great, obviously, with those big chorus numbers, well, Stormtroopers. Those are going to be great. And
kick, turn.
Sorry.
Kick, turn. Opening numbers.
Exactly. Yeah, and those old-fashioned aerial shots with all the Stormtroopers in this rainbow going round and round, which that should be good fun too. So anyway, I'm giving away too much. I shouldn't give away any more about Hello There, the musical. That's enough. I would love to do another one. I really would. I would, and I'm quite interested to take. I've always thought there must be a sort of modern day musical, and I remember there was a brilliant film called Hedwig and the Angry Inch that came out round about the same time as Moulin Rouge, and I thought or maybe just after Moulin Rouge, and I thought that's sort of that's the future of musicals, where you take where you take any subject and you don't have set pieces or whatever. It's just part of the music is part of the dialogue, part of the storytelling. I think there must be. There are traditional musicals on stage, and there are musical movies that are made like that. But I think there must be a new kind of musical movie, and I'm excited that we should explore that somehow and find out what that is.
In a galaxy.
Like Once. Do you remember that? Did you see that film Once?
Yes.
The Irish film Once. Well, that was a sort of modern musical too, and I would love to do something like that in that vein. I think that would be cool.
We want it, and that's just the truth. And last fan question. Is there one thing that throughout your career is a source of inspiration? Such a good question to end on.
Yes. Look, the truth is that my biggest inspiration throughout my career would be my uncle Dennis, who's an actor, who was in all the Star Wars films too, in fact. The original 3. He played Wedge Antilles. He was an X-Wing pilot. But I had, alongside his roles in Star Wars, an amazing career, and was a great singer and was in many great musicals in the West End, and a great movie actor. And he's my inspiration. He's always the actor I looked up to the most. And when I was a kid, wanted to be like, and that's still the same today. He's still really if I ever got in a situation on set where I was stuck or I didn't know, there's only one person I would call to speak to about it. It would be Dennis, really.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
second time. I'm not crying, you're crying. Well, thank you so much for making
That was great.
This was amazing.
Cool.
For all the fans out there who are watching this, don't forget Ace is going to be helping you with a little bit more of Ewan McGregor. That's right, Ace has launched a new autograph send-in service where you can send in your own item to be signed by Ewan himself, or you can purchase an autograph on available items via Ace's featured partners. So you can head on over to acecomicon.com for more information, and be sure to check out our featured partner pages for available items, pricing, and more. But if this doesn't make you want to get something signed by Ewan, I don't know. That and a musical. I just want a musical.
We'll work on it. I'll speak to everyone over in Lucasfilm and Disney, and I'm sure we'll find some way to turn it into a musical, I'm sure.
I mean, I feel like it's a musical episode. So thank you.
Thank you. That was fun. That was good. Good luck, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, I hope one day we can do all these signings and tell people that we could do them in person one day. I look forward to it.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Take care.